Hey everybody, it is TJ and Kelly,
Hey.
and we are going to talk about the new, quote unquote, keto diet, fad, whatever you want to call it. But first,
Kelly would call it a fad.
yeah, I would say it's a fad. So we're going to start off obviously talking about how our weeks was. So Kelly, how was your week so far?
My week so far, what I can remember. Oh, I had an OBGYN appointment today. I know everybody wants to hear about that. It's fabulous. So, ladies, it's really important. It's a part of self-care. Make your appointments. You should know you should be making your regular appointments for your pap smears, for your mammograms. You should know your numbers like cholesterol, triglycerides, blood pressure. So make sure that you call your doctor and set up those appointments, even though they are super fun.
Oh, I bet.
But yeah. So
Sounds
how
like.
was your week, TJ? I'm sure you want to hear all about that.
Well, I did not have an OBGYN appointment.
I hope not.
So that's a plus. Pretty good so far. Enjoy the Memorial Day weekend. Got some plans for this one, but overall not too bad. Um, got my run time to 24 minutes.
I saw that.
Yeah, it sucks. I hate running. So, but if you don't do something you don't like, there's no growth at all. So,
I guess.
I mean, if I lift weights all the time and that's all I did, there's no
Well,
growth.
you like to do it, right?
Exactly.
You
I
like to do that. Yes. No,
Yeah.
I totally get it.
Yeah. So if I don't like to run, I got to do it because then eventually either A, I'll like it, or just B, I'll get so good at it, it won't matter. Because I'll get it done in like 5 minutes, 2 miles.
Right.
New world record. All right. Anyway, so we're talking about the keto diet. It's a major new quote unquote diet, just in the mainstream media. Everybody's talking about it. There's a bunch of different parameters as far as that goes. So just in essence, a keto diet or ketogenic diet is just a low carb, high fat diet that can help you burn fat more effectively. Now, I've been doing it for, let's say, since January of this year, just because my body responds better
Right.
that way. But I don't know. Have you ever done it before yourself?
I have attempted it. Yes.
And you loved it. That's why she continues to do it, right?
I'm being very quiet over here in the corner because I'm really probably going to piss some people off with my thoughts about keto.
And that's fine. That's great.
But no, yeah, my experience with keto just wasn't great.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably what, like the keto flu and all that kind of stuff will cover.
No, actually, it just made my disordered eating patterns worse.
Worse, yeah.
I felt like
because it restricts so much.
well, yeah, and I was just in a place where I was like, well, I'm struggling with all of these different diets and cleanses that I'm trying, so maybe I should just be more strict with myself.
Sure.
And being more strict was not the answer
Right.
for me.
Yeah, that's usually not the answer. Yeah, it makes total sense. So, it's really, we'll kind of cover everything, what it is, how to get to that ketotic state, etc. So what does keto mean? Like the words, keto and ketogenic diet just comes from the fact that it allows your body to produce small fuel molecules. Oh my goodness, called ketones. Okay. And that's just an alternative fuel source. So, you have blood glucose, which comes from carbs, sugar, and stuff like that. And ketones is just the other alternative. And that's just basically what your body uses for fuel in your brain and overall function. In short, so it's just your blood sugar supply. Okay. Ketones are produced if you eat like few carbs. So what does that really mean, few carbs? So you can go to really strict keto, which I believe they say under 30 grams, but I even think they even lower it even more so than that.
Yeah.
I think it's even like 10 or less.
I think it's important for people to note here that it's really dependent on your body and
Right.
how your body utilizes fats and carbohydrates. Some people can be in a state of ketosis eating 75 grams of carbs,
Right.
and others have to eat under 25. So it's very, very individual.
And I think it depends on another thing, like how much body fat you have and everything. So if you're
Right.
super athletic you use any carbs that you get really fast
Right.
and you process it faster, then obviously, I think I read somewhere, I can't remember what it was, on YouTube, this guy says he can eat 100 grams a day and still be in ketosis, which is, I'm like, that's insane.
Oh, is he like a triathlete or something?
No, I don't know. He was just a lean guy. He's like a
Hmm.
doctor that does, research on this stuff, but he's like, yeah, I can do, 100 grams a day or every couple of days, and within like hours and back into it. I'm like, that's insane.
Right.
I mean, I would love to do that, but then I feel bad when I eat too many carbs anyways, so I don't know if I would even go to the extreme.
Right. Right.
But personally, I usually stay under about 30 grams of net carbs. So
Are you using like the pee strips or like blood testing
I
to?
do sometimes. I mean, I know that if I'm under, usually rule of thumb, if I'm under 30, that's a pretty good standard. I
Right.
use the pee strips, but I mean, I don't use them all the time. I don't want to pee on my hand in the morning. Um,
No, really?
no, I don't want to do that. I
I
mean,
I
and you,
wrote a blog post, and that was one of my like downsides
yeah,
of keto.
I read
Is
it. I
that
read part
oh,
of
you
it.
read that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, yeah, I totally understand peeing on your hand at 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, it's not a good thing. But I know that with ketones and stuff, it fluctuates so much in your
Yeah.
body. I mean, I literally have to pee on my hand all day long just to get an accurate reading. I'm not doing that.
Right.
I know that I'm in that state because the carbs I'm eating are so few. So like, so personally, I stay at just about 30. Like today, I'm at 20. I'll be at 29 for the day,
Okay.
and that's net carbs. So there's total carbs and there's net carbs, and basically just to kind of quick math, it just takes your total carbs total. So say if you have 100 grams of carbs and you have 30 grams of fiber, you subtract those two, you get 70 net carbs.
Right.
So that's
Right. A lot of people don't understand that whole. There's lots of questions about the fiber versus the
yeah.
total carbohydrate versus net carbohydrate.
And I even
so
have to
that's
remind
good.
myself because I forget all the time. So I'm
Right.
just like, wait, how many? Okay, I'm good. So,
Right.
and it's really quick to easy math. If you have it in MyFitnessPal, I think they're like right next to each other, so it's quick math to do. But I mean, if you eat a lot of fiber, that's good, in your diet. But it subtracts that number. But still, if there's sugar in whatever you're eating, anyways, that counts, regardless. So basically, you want to stay under about 30 grams a day um,
Of carbs, right?
of carb.
Yeah.
Yeah, net carbs. And then if you eat fewer, great. If you can eat more, that's fine. But the ketones, back to that part, is produced by the liver from the fat storage and fat that you eat. So during this diet, you're going to be eating a lot more fats, and I do mean a lot more. So I think daily I get about 120 grams a day, maybe less sometimes. But that's just all fats. That's a lot.
Right.
I mean,
Now, do you limit? I've heard that one of the biggest mistakes that people make with keto is that they eat too much protein because there's a process called gluconeogenesis
yeah,
that converts excess protein into sugar, correct?
right. It does. Yes.
So, do you have like a limit on your protein too?
So, limit on my protein. So usually when we were in school, that said like 1 to 2 grams for a guy, or like 1.5 to 2 grams for men per pound of lean body mass.
Right.
So I actually go to the lower end. I go to about 1 to 1, maybe 1.25. So I don't even.
Okay.
So I get. So if my lean body mass, I think I'm like, let's just say 185. That's probably close. If I was to do, yeah, because 20%, because I'm about 20% now, 225, it's about 85. But so I'm at that or under.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm always going to be lower on the lower end because I mean, if you've never had to eat protein either through food, it sucks. You have to eat so much of it.
Yeah.
It's insane. And I mean, I do like a protein shake at the end of the day just to kind of get the numbers up from. I mean, if I'm off by like 20 or 30, then I'll bump them up. But usually it's under about 185.
Okay.
Very rarely does it even hit 200.
Right.
At all. I don't
Right.
think I've been doing it long enough to even hit that number. So.
Right.
All right. So, ketones are produced by the liver just from the fat and the fat storages you have. And then those ketones are used for fuel in your body and your brain. Okay. Just to know, your brain will actually burn about 20% of your body's resting metabolic rate, which is a lot. So if you have never heard of what a metabolic rate is, basically, if you are just a couch potato all day, you're not sitting, you're sitting, you're not doing anything, you're just laying in your bed or whatever. It's just how many calories just for the bodily functions,
Right.
right?
Right.
So just think of that. So if I've actually done mine, so I'm like, I'll just take a guess. I'm like 2,200 a day just by doing nothing. So you got to think about it. 20% of that is going to be just your brain to function to do anything.
Right. It's crazy.
Which is a lot.
Yeah.
If you really think
Exactly.
about it. I mean, your brain is the size of, what do they guess, like two fists together, and that's usually using 20% of all your calories for the day. I mean, that's just an insane amount. So I mean, and your body or your brain actually likes carbs a lot more than it likes fats, just because I think it's easier to break down carbs.
So, right. And like, here's the part where I'm going to sort of interject
Do it.
and it's going to make people angry.
I'm not angry ever.
So I know you're not angry, but there are people who are like, there's people in every diet who are like the disciples, and
Sure.
they're like, this is the diet for everyone.
All right, Game of Thrones reference. They are the High Sparrow.
Okay. I don't watch Game of Thrones. I've never actually seen an episode. Sorry, people. I've never seen.
They are
an
the
episode.
High Sparrow. He's
Okay.
the crazy guy in Game of Thrones.
Okay.
basically.
Okay. So High Sparrow, right? So those high sparrows are going to be very angry with me. The keto high sparrows.
Yes.
So use of ketones for energy is actually a starvation fail-safe in humans.
Yep.
It's the brain and body's preferred source of fuel is actually glucose. And our brain and body can run off of fat and ketones if it has to, but it doesn't prefer it. And I'm personally not convinced that our bodies are supposed to remain in a state of ketosis long term, because it basically equates to starvation. Your body is starving, and so it's being forced to use an alternate fuel source, which, is something that we're programmed to do over millions of years of evolution. So what I want to say here, though, is it's not to say that we should be fueling up with cereal and Oreos and goldfish crackers, which is what most Americans are doing, and that's why they're fat. The types of carbs that our bodies are built to run on are the whole and fibrous type. So these are going to be like beets, potatoes, carrots, fruits, leafy greens, and vegetables. The kind that most Americans are not eating enough of. And so what happens? People eat their goldfish crackers, they gain weight, they decide that carbs are evil, and then they go on this crazy diet called keto that puts your body into a starvation response. And what we really should know is that carbs aren't evil. They're not bad. We're just eating, for the most part, the wrong kinds of them. And unfortunately, keto restricts the healthy carbs like fruits, certain vegetables, potatoes. And I'm sorry, but these things like apples and grapes didn't make anybody fat.
Right.
Though a lot of times keto people or keto disciples will make you think that eating apples and grapes, you can't eat those things. And it's true that if you want to remain in the state of ketosis, because it is a physical state that your body has to be in, you really have to be careful about eating those types of things. But again, those weren't the things that made you fat.
Right. Then I'll be a testament. I ate too many Swiss rolls, and so I became fat. So that's what happens.
Case in point.
Yeah, case in point, yeah. But I think for me, as far as that, I totally agree. You have to have a balanced diet, everything. For right now, once I get to where I want to be, like body fat wise, I think I'll transition to that.
Right.
And it's more, I think more right now, it's more of a getting that sugar craving when I do have it under control, because I know I can't eat
For sure.
more. And that's just more of me checking myself, just because I do get cravings and I want pizza.
Right.
And I will devour an entire pizza. So, and I mean, that's not what I should be eating.
I'm not trying to. And I know people are going to think that I'm trying to be down on people who are attempting to do better for themselves. And I don't like to sound that way, because for some people, keto does work really well, and for that purpose specifically as well. If you're trying to reduce your cravings for sugar, unfortunately, I think it's so individual.
Yeah.
Like for me, keto actually made my disordered eating habits worse. And so, again, there's that difference between you and me. So we're very individual. And I just, I think a lot of times people think that, keto is like the magic
It's because
pill.
it's so fast.
Right.
I
It
think
can happen
it
so
works so
fast.
fast. They go from like, 250 to 225 within a month. They're like, oh my gosh, this is awesome.
Right.
And there is a response to where you will lose weight fast in the beginning, and then it'll kind of taper down with any diet.
Do you think a lot of the weight that you lose initially is water though, because you're not
I actually have a story for that.
okay?
So I text you, or I think I posted. I was like 222 the one morning,
Right.
and then I had a cheat day. I'm
Oh,
like, well, and I usually did no matter what. So and
right.
then within a week I'd be back down
Right.
more than what I was previously.
Okay.
So I'd be like, okay, I'm fine. I'm gonna do a cheat day. I can't remember what I ate. I stepped on the scale Monday morning. I've been weighing myself daily to see where it's going. 232. Okay, not a big deal. It's water.
Right.
Next day, 231. It took today and yesterday. I'm down to 224. So it took 2 weeks to
Oh.
lose. Either A is water, and I either retain a lot of water a lot, and I don't know what that's called. I don't know if you would know.
Mm, yeah. I mean,
I'm not
no,
really
I don't
sure. It
know.
could be like edema or something. I don't know. I don't think it would be that.
Oh, I
I don't think
mean,
it would be that either, but
right.
I could just retain water a lot. So I had to pound water, probably a gallon or more, maybe. I didn't keep track of it, but it took me a week, 2 weeks just to get down to 224 again
Right.
with close. It's striking distance. I'm not worried about 2 pounds.
Well, right.
I could probably fart and there's 224. So, I mean, it's not. I'm not worried about that. But it took 2 weeks just to get back down to that. And I'm like,
Wow.
oh, I can have it. No, I'm not having cheat day. I don't want it now, just because it's like if I balloon up 10 pounds and it takes 2 weeks just to get back to where you're at that steady. Hey, I'm at 224. Okay, I know where I'm at. I need to cut I need to cut calories, whatever. But it took 2 weeks just to get back down
Right.
close, which I'm like, that's ridiculous.
But essentially, the initial weight loss especially is almost all water. And if you
Mm-hmm.
actually did the math, like the calorie math to how hard it actually is to lose. I mean, there's 3,500 calories in a pound,
To lose a
right?
pound is hard.
Right.
Yeah.
And so if you do the math, you will find that it's actually almost close to impossible, because I hear people all the time say, oh, I started keto this week and I'm already down 7 pounds. And, it's been like, what, 4 days? It's
Well, there's a reason
actually,
for going to. Okay, go ahead.
well, it's water.
Yeah.
It's not physically possible to lose 7 or 10 or even 5 pounds of fat in 4 days.
Well, there's a reason behind that, though. It's because the carbs or glycogen, every
Right.
gram holds so much water.
Right.
And as you burn it, usually it takes about, I would say, 3 or 4 days, maybe a little bit longer, to get all that get all of it out. It's not gonna all be gone, but get a lot of it out to where you lose, and that's where that weight loss comes from.
Right.
And you have to, and people say, I mean, you lose all that water, you have to drink it. You have to,
Yes.
you're constantly drinking water. And we're going to talk about some of the symptoms and supplements in another podcast, but other supplements you'll need to take when you're actually doing this. Yeah.
Right.
It's crazy how much water you actually think, oh, hey, I'm drinking 6 ounces of water a day. Obviously, that's not the case, but
I wanted to ask you, since you had sort of mentioned cheat days, how often do you have a cheat day right now, since you're kind of
I
doing
haven't
the
had
keto?
any.
You haven't had any. Okay.
So I found alternatives to cheat days.
Okay.
I made a keto cookie, and
Right.
it's like 3 grams of carbs per cookie. So I eat 2 of those, and that gives me my like sweet, but it's like
Okay.
it's like literally peanut butter, swerve, and eggs.
Okay.
So I mean, and that
Okay.
swerve, you know what that is? That's that like,
Yes.
yeah, it's on stevia. It doesn't taste like garbage because I hate stevia.
Right. Have you ever tried coconut butter? Not
I have
coconut
not.
oil,
I have
coconut
not, no.
butter. I'm gonna have to get you a sample of that stuff, because
good?
Yes, it's so good.
Do you just
And
put on toast or something? Well, I can't eat toast, but
I actually make I make a fudge with it.
oh, okay.
And so I'll have to. It's so freaking good.
Okay.
You know what? Next time we record, I'll make sure I make some.
Okay.
And I'll give some to you. It's
Okay.
totally keto friendly.
Oh, okay. I better make sure it sticks under my 30 grams of carbs.
It will be. I'll do the carb count for you too.
Oh, thank you. So I do that. So I have those. I have 2 every day, usually before I work out
Mhm.
or at night when I'm watching a movie, but I keep it under the 30 grams anyways. And then I recently, since I'm a Jew and we can't eat pigs and stuff, and can't eat gummy bears because there's, what is that called? What is it? Start with a G. I can't remember the word, gelatin.
Gelatin,
Yeah,
right?
so there's
Which
gelatin in
usually
everything.
comes from the
Pigs and
yeah.
stuff. I can't eat that. So I
Oh.
had found a vegan gummy bear that's low carb. Has
Oh my
3 grams.
god.
I found it on Amazon. Thank you, Amazon.
I would like a picture of the ingredient label when you get a chance. I
It's
wanna see
actually
what's
all
in it.
vegetables.
Really?
It's literally all vegetables. I'm
Crazy.
pretty sure. I'll have to bring you a package if I remember, but I'll send it to you. But yeah, I think it's like all vegetables for the
Sweet.
most part because it has 28 grams of fiber in it.
Oh my
So
god.
that's got to be vegetables.
Well,
There
yeah.
might be some like powder because they're
Maybe
sour.
glucomannan or something. I bet that's what they're using. I bet they're using glucomannan.
They might. I'll have to
So,
look.
because it gels.
It gels.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
they might use some of that. Yeah, so they're like
Interesting.
little pieces, but I eat that, so that's kind of like my gummy bear because I can't eat them anyways. But yeah, I found those. Those are awesome. I tried them today or yesterday, but they're good. They stick to your teeth like no other. It's like glue.
That's probably that glucomannan stuff. I actually have it in powder form.
Oh, is it good? I can eat it. So if you eat it, I can eat it, right?
Yeah, but I wouldn't recommend eating a lot of it.
No, it's like, hey, I want gummy bears today. I ate like half of my
Right.
thing today, so it wasn't like a lot. It's like literally a fistful is like the whole package. All right, so on our awesome rant for 15 minutes, we're going to talk about the keto flu.
Yes,
All right.
and I'm going to add in a few of my own things here, but I'm going to let you talk about the
Sure,
keto
yeah.
flu as far as like the side effects first.
Yeah.
But I think there's a couple of important things that we need to cover since I'm like I'm
She's an
sort of
expert.
anti-keto.
She's
I am
an
not an expert. I am not, no.
Expert in everything.
I'm not an expert. I'm not a know-it-all. Maybe just a little. All right.
little
Anyway, you go into the side effects of the keto flu.
So it's dreaded. It's keto flu. It sucks. So basically, typically starts in the beginning of the diet, mainly just the result of the body just adapting to that low carb state. And some of the symptoms of the flu are just headaches, weakness, irritability, constipation, nausea, and vomiting. I personally only get the headaches, and I have no problem with number 2. So I don't get constipation. I get the other stuff. And that was overflowing. That was great. Diarrhea, if you didn't know what it was. Okay.
Well, you and I are like yin and yang.
Yeah. So with the body slipping over to ketosis, you're just going to get rid of what am I even trying to say? I have no idea. So I know exactly what I'm trying to say. So basically, when you are in that keto state, you're constantly going to be drinking water because you need to refill just the water in your body. You can't hold it because there's no glycogen stores or very little, and you're oh my goodness, constantly going to be urinating, going to the bathroom all day long. I probably go to the bathroom like 10 times nowadays. It's insane. I'll be sitting at my desk, I'll be taking a call, I'm like, I go to the bathroom now. But anyways, the reason for that is just because you don't have the carbs, and there's a side effect to that where the headaches come in, and that's mainly going to be your electrolytes are going to be out of balance. Mainly, your sodium, potassium, magnesium. So if you have a Gatorade next to you that's 0 sugar, like I do right now, I drink those, and she's staring it down because she wants it. It's so good.
Artificial sugars.
Yeah. Wait, where is it? Yeah, there's probably some stuff in there I shouldn't be drinking. But, that will kind of get rid of that until you get out of that keto flu state to where your body adjusts. And just to know, if you do eat carbs and you kind of kick yourself out of it, if you're on keto for a while, you can get back into it relatively quickly.
Right.
But you may or may not have those side effects, just depending on your body, how long you've been in it.
I think, and this is my understanding, is that the longer that you do keto, the more efficient your body does become at utilizing ketones as a fuel source. And so it does become easier to get back into ketosis if you eat something that kicks you out of it.
Right.
But initially, people really struggle because not just the water thing is huge, and the electrolyte imbalance, but also it's just hard for your body to get used to making that switch to using a different fuel source.
Yeah.
And I mean, I did low carb for it, not keto necessarily, but I did more of a paleo low carb where, I just wasn't eating any processed, like no grains. I wasn't eating potatoes or anything, but I was still eating more carbs than a keto diet. But I did low carb for a long time, and it took my body a really long time to adjust to doing workouts, on low carb,
Oh,
to just my energy levels were low for a long time. And then, like I said, it did adjust. And I do find that if I were to choose right now to go back to low carb, I think my body would make that switch almost effortlessly at this point, because I trained my body to run off of alternate fuel source.
Sure. Yeah.
So,
Right. That makes sense.
but like, so there's that side effect, but there's also like, because again, I'm sort of like I'm the devil's advocate here. Like, I know you do well on keto, but I think it's important for people to know that everybody's an individual, and if there was one single diet that worked for every person, then we would all be on it and we would all be healthy and thin and fit, right?
Right, exactly.
So, but because we're all so individual and all of our genetics are different, we all come from different backgrounds. So there can be more than just side effects. There can be major health consequences to doing keto, especially if it's done poorly. And a lot of people don't do keto well. So I don't want to gloss over the potential health risks of a diet that eliminates the body's preferred source of fuel. So in women, hormone imbalance and infertility can be the result of doing keto and or doing it poorly. In men and women with genetic predisposition for high cholesterol, keto is contraindicated because it can cause LDL cholesterol to soar. It can cause heartbeat irregularities because of the electrolyte imbalance that we talked about. It can cause or exacerbate kidney and liver problems. Also, if you have an impaired gallbladder, or if you've had your gallbladder removed, keto is a terrible diet and will cause you to feel terribly ill. So I actually worked with a woman who was put on a ketogenic diet, I think by maybe, I don't know if it was by a chiropractor or a holistic practitioner.
Sure.
She doesn't have a gallbladder. And so she came to...
Why is that? Why does that do that?
So she doesn't have, her gallbladder was removed because she had gallstones.
Right, okay.
So, and it was inflamed. She had to have it removed. Your gallbladder is what helps you digest fats.
Oh.
So if you go on a ketogenic diet and your gallbladder is either compromised or you don't have a gallbladder and you're eating all of this fat, you're going to feel terrible. And she came to me and she said, she's like, every time I eat, I get the runs, like I have to stay near a bathroom.
It's probably just because it's just flushed out. Just all that fat's just going right through.
Her life was completely revolving around a bathroom every time she ate.
All right, Hannah, do not eat fat or keto. Do not, because she has hers removed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was the size of a golf ball.
Oh my gosh.
Or a golf ball, softball.
Softball. I was going to say a golf
tiny.
ball. But yeah, that's so yeah, somebody who doesn't have a gallbladder has to be really careful with something like this.
Well, I have mine, so I'm good.
You're good to go.
I'm good to go so far.
Decreased bone density. I think you might have mentioned that before. Mm-hmm. Constipation, which I know you said wasn't your experience, but has been mine with keto. Vitamin and mineral deficiencies that require supplementation. And so, like, how is it that keto could really be so good for us and some people call it our ancestral way of eating. Mm-hmm. But if we have to supplement to get what we need, is it really what we're meant, the way that we're meant to be eating?
Right.
And so, like, my comment there is just, eat a damn orange if you need some vitamin C.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll eat a salad every now and then. I'm not a big fruit eater.
Right.
I mean, I'll eat it when I want to eat it, but like in the summer, I'll probably eat more, but I'll still stay within that range. Like, I think, what was it? Yeah, just the other day I had like cucumbers and onions and lettuce and all this other healthy stuff. So I'll eat it. I just don't eat it a lot just because I don't want to eat it.
Right.
I mean, I'll eat a salad. If you put it in front of me, I'll eat it. But
right.
I'm not super indulgent about eating a salad at 9:00 at night or whatever it is.
I think, and the last couple of points I want to make is that there's very little long-term research on this diet and its long-term health implications for humans. In my case, I think it can cause eating disorders, but in my case, it made mine worse. And I think lastly, most people they do it wrong. You can't eat only butter and bacon and be healthy. That's just not how it works. And no, you cannot disregard calories. Like a lot of people go on keto and they all of a sudden think that they can like eat as much cheese as they want to with
Yeah.
complete disregard to how much they're eating.
And I think, well, the reason I think for that would be just like how I was doing it a few years ago, and I was like really heavy.
Yeah.
I didn't count my calories. I lost the weight, but I think it's even with doing the diet and not counting my calories, I think I ate less than I used to, so
Mm-hmm.
that's why it came off.
Yeah, I mean there is some evidence that supports the fact that I think keto, if you do it long enough and your body sort of adjusts to using ketones, that your appetite sort of goes away.
Oh yeah, it's pretty significant. I mean,
Right.
in the morning I'm hungry because I do the 16/8 and fasting or whatever.
Right.
But once I eat, I'm good for a long time. Yeah,
Right.
I don't have to worry about it too much.
Right.
All right, so you kind of talked about all the side effects. There's one other thing we need to talk about is like yo-yo dieting. All that fun stuff. So
Oh yeah.
if you go off of it, just like most people, they'll do that and they'll go off even further and further until they're waist deep in Cheetos and macaroons or whatever you want to eat. So I mean, there's always that that obstacle. So if you have that and you do tend to do keto, usually staying away from a cheat meal or a cheat day would be better than you having one, especially if you mentally can't switch from one to the other.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, TJ. So what do you eat on a
All right.
ketogenic diet?
I'll just tell you what I eat. So every day I eat, well, mostly every day I eat meat, cheese, more cheese. I eat avocado I had today. I had eggs, bacon, I think I said, turkey bacon. And then I'll have my cookies I mentioned. I'll have a protein shake. I think that's about it though. That's pretty well within what it is. And then if it's on a Sunday or Saturday and there's a salad, eat a salad. But usually during the week, that's the easiest. I just grab it and go. So that is mainly what I'm eating. It's amazing. I love cheese.
It depends on who you ask.
I love cheese.
I love cheese too.
That's the problem.
But when I did experiment with keto, I actually got tired of cheese. Believe it or not.
I don't eat that much.
Really?
I have like 3 cheese sticks and then like 2 ounces of like this aged Parmesan or aged white cheddar. That's it.
I felt like it was all I could eat. Like I felt like there were 3 things I could eat, and so it was like
cheese, meat, butter,
cheese, nuts, and even with nuts you got to be careful. And yeah, butter. And I was just like, okay, what can I eat? Because I'm actually never thought I could get tired of cheese. I love cheese, but I got tired of eating cheese.
Yeah, I don't overdo it on cheese, so I don't think that would be a concern.
What stuff do you tend to avoid?
I avoid pasta, pizza, some vegetables. I don't think there's any glycemic vegetables that are that high. I think butternut squash might be pretty high.
Yeah, the winter squashes are high.
Yeah.
I mean, like potatoes.
Potatoes are
high,
crazy high.
What about corn?
I don't like corn.
But I mean, it's also pretty like starchy.
It's pretty starchy, but I don't like it. Like if I'm going to eat a vegetable, if I'm going to eat a vegetable, it's going to be like spinach, kale, broccoli, that kind of stuff. So they're already low.
Right.
Anyways. So
I mean, you really have to eat a lot of that to get like
a
significant amount of carbohydrates.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I don't like the starchy carbs anyways, because if I go to a restaurant, I think I went a couple weeks ago with my parents for Mother's Day, but I had like French fries. I'm like, these taste like crap. I'm not eating this. And so I ate like half of them, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. So yeah, so I really just stay away from like a lot of the starchy stuff. But it's gonna be like beer and candy and donuts for you and soda. So basically anything like super high in carbs. If you look at the nutrition label, it's going to tell you a pretty good idea of what it is. I mean, if you go to the store and you think you're going to drink 24 ounce of Pepsi, that's not going to happen because that's like 2 days worth.
Right.
So
right.
So get that out of your mind if you think that's going to happen. So
right.
So if you really just kind of break it down, anything that's on that glycemic index, super high. If you eat it and it's, well, let's see. If well, let me give you kind of a blatant response. So if it's like super green, I think it's okay, except for like squash.
Right.
So like broccoli's good, salads are good, cucumbers are good because they're literally water.
Right.
Celery,
Celery.
yeah.
Yeah.
Carrots actually are pretty high in
Yeah, they
carbs.
are.
Um, I don't eat very many carrots, so that I'm okay with that. So that kind of stuff. I mean, you can kind of just pick and choose. If you put it in MyFitnessPal, it's going to tell you kind of a general outline. So it'd be pretty easy to do that. But basically, any veggies that can grow above ground and nuts are going to be good for you to eat. So that would be kind of good rule of thumb. All right, so what to drink on a keto diet? We got water, coffee, tea, low carb or no carb drinks, but we found that out last week. If you're doing intermittent fasting, you can't do those.
Right.
But you can drink them if you're doing keto. Let's see who should not do this. Who should not do a keto diet? So, if you're taking medication for diabetes, you already talked about the blood pressure. If you breastfeed, that's a huge one. Just because I know my wife was asking me about it, I'm like, I'm pretty sure you get a lot of nutrients from like carbs and other stuff that you eat that you don't necessarily wouldn't be able to eat. So, if you want to keep a balanced diet, and obviously the nutrients go from her to our son, that's obviously something we want to keep in mind, especially with that.
I think, also a few others that, people that might want to think twice. And if you talk to any doctor about keto, they will tell you that keto is really good for a specific set of conditions. And that's what it's been studied in. So controlling epileptic seizures in kids.
And I think at night Alzheimer's. I
Um,
heard something about that too, but I'm not sure if
I don't know
there's.
about that one, but I know like the super morbidly obese,
Mm-hmm.
they tend to, be able to lose weight quickly with a keto diet if they can stay on it. But most doctors will tell you that you really should only undertake a diet as strict as keto if you are under the supervision of a doctor.
Right.
So a couple other people that, just as a reminder, if you have high cholesterol or you have genetic propensity for high cholesterol, you might want to think twice about keto because it is so high in fat. If you have impaired kidney, liver, or gallbladder function, you need to be careful with keto. If you have or have had an eating disorder, you probably want to think twice about an ultra restrictive diet like keto. And children, I think for obvious reasons, probably shouldn't be on a diet that restricts entire food groups. And I like to add women in here with question marks because, like I said, for some women, keto does work. But there's also been some evidence that shows that women who do keto start to struggle with hormonal imbalances
Oh
and
yeah,
things like that
I can see
because
that.
because again you're going into that starvation state and women have very delicate hormones. And I think what it comes down to is there's this bio individuality. So some people are going to do really well in keto, but I think it also has to do with personality, don't you think?
Um,
Like,
yeah, I think if you're very strict and regimented, you could do it pretty well.
yes.
And if you have that propensity to be fickle, then
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
See, that's what I wonder because I think people really need to ask themselves if keto is something that interests you. You need to say, I'm interested in this diet. I feel like it might be something I can maintain, but then you need to try it out for like a month and you need to say, can I live this way forever?
Right.
Because it is a forever type of diet. And some people have the type of personality that allows them to do it without feeling like they're making major sacrifices.
Mm-hmm.
Like you must be more of a regimented person than me.
Yeah, yeah, for right now.
For
Yeah.
me, maybe it's my personality that didn't allow me to do keto very well.
Okay.
I am not a regimented person, and I don't think I'm built for the extreme deprivation and restriction.
Yeah, and that makes total sense.
Right.
So, kind of just wrapping up, if you're going to do a keto diet and you're really serious about doing it, go to your doctor. Make sure you get all the work you need to do. If they recommend a diet, obviously they're going to keep you in check on that in those regards. But like she said, try it out for a month under supervision if you need to, especially with those conditions, and then let us know.
But
that'd be
hey,
cool.
disclaimer, don't be dumb. We are just giving you this information for entertainment purposes. This is not to be construed as medical advice.
Ever.
So, right. This is done. All of this stuff that we're telling you about is all done at your own risk.
Yeah, that's good. Good to know. All right, see you guys next time.
Bye.
Hey everyone, this is TJ and
Kelly
with the Initiative Project Podcast. If you like what you heard, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any questions you'd like us to cover, please email us at initiativepodcast@gmail.com. See you next time.